After my wife died, her son said, "We want the estate, the business, everything." My lawyer begged me to fight. I said, "Give it all to them." Everyone thought I'd lost my mind. At the final hearing, I signed the papers. The boys smiled until their lawyer turned pale when he read, "Married 11 years. Her sons from her first marriage never called me anything but him. She built the design firm from nothing. 32 employees, contracts that took years to land, never once listed as an owner. She died in February, fast, gone in 9 weeks." The older son called for the first time in over a year, said the estate needed to be handled properly given the circumstances. The circumstances being that I wasn't blood. Certified letters followed, wanting the condo, the firm, the accounts, everything with her name on it. My lawyer was furious, said we had real standing to fight. I told him to drop all of it. No fight, no counter. When he asked if it was grief talking, I told him it wasn't. I needed the document drafted exactly as requested, full transfer, full waiver, every asset named individually instead of lumped together as the estate. Unusual, he said, but he agreed once I explained why. The sons couldn't believe their luck. In the meetings before the hearing, I said almost nothing. Just let them talk about how their mother would have wanted this. By the second meeting, they'd stopped watching me closely at all, the way you stop watching something once you've decided it's already yours. The morning of the final hearing, I wore the navy suit she'd picked out for our last anniversary dinner. The one she said finally made me look like I owned a suit on purpose. I sat across from the boys and their attorney at a long table that still smelled like fresh polish, and for the first time since she died, I felt something close to calm settle into my chest. While we waited for the judge, the younger son leaned toward his brother and said, not quietly enough, that he'd already gotten a call about a buyer for the condo, someone willing to close fast, cash. The older one asked about the firm next, whether they should keep it running or sell it off in pieces. Their attorney told them to wait until the paperwork was final before making calls. The older son laughed and said, "What paperwork? It's already done. He's just signing it." The judge read through the waiver line by line, methodical, almost bored by how uncontested it all was, asking after each item if I understood I was relinquishing all claim voluntarily. I said yes every time. The condo? Yes. The firm? All equipment and assets? Yes. The vehicles? Yes. The accounts? Yes. The older son was half smiling by the third item, that particular smile people get trying not to look too pleased in front of a judge. By the sixth, the younger one had his phone resting in his lap under the table, thumbs moving, probably telling someone it was really happening. Their attorney kept glancing at me, waiting for a catch that never came, some objection, some last-second change of heart. None came. Nobody in that room was watching me anymore, and I understood sitting there that this was exactly the moment I'd been waiting 7 months for them to reach. I signed the last page. The judge set down her pen and asked if either party had anything further to add before the matter closed. Their attorney stood first, practically glowing, said no, everything was in order. His clients were entirely satisfied with the resolution as documented. Then, almost as an afterthought, he picked the final page back up to double-check the asset list against his own copy. His finger traced down the column, condo, firm, vehicles, accounts, the same list we'd already gone through aloud a minute earlier. He reached the bottom entry and stopped. He went back to the top and started again, slower this time, mouthing the words, not a skim, an actual read. The deliberate kind you do when something makes you check you saw it right the first time. His face changed color in about 4 seconds. He asked for a recess, pulled both sons into the hallway, and his voice went from calm to something close to panic. What none of them checked, their attorney so focused on catching me hiding something, is that 7 months before she died, before she even knew she was sick, my wife filed me as the licensed operator of record on a municipal contract after a client required a bonded, certified point of contact. The firm was hers, now theirs, exactly as agreed. But the contract, worth more than the rest of the business combined, quietly funding nearly everything else, was licensed to me personally, non-transferable without new certification, 9 months minimum processing. History they didn't have. They got the company, not the thing keeping it alive. Their attorney came back alone, asked for a continuance to review a licensing matter. I said nothing. Everything I'd signed, I'd already signed.